What You Expect to See by Caitlin Zivanovich. The sun glittered off the glass and steel buildings of New Capenna, and a pair of green and red birds chased each other through the air. Kamiz paused in the shadows while her apprentice stepped into the sun and gaped. "Look, Kamiz," Quezza pointed. "They're beautiful." Kamiz sighed. "Erithicus rubecula. They're robins. They're artists. Even you can appreciate beauty, can't you?" "I appreciate facts, kid." The robins sang as Kamiz and Quezza entered Tivet's fortune-teller shop, locking the door behind them. Floating crystal balls lit the room, illuminating the obscura sigil, hand, keyhole, and dagger. Kamiz appreciated the display of loyalty. "Ah, Kamiz!" Rafine's right-hand cephalid. Tivet patted on heavy paws and folded their bright white wings. "And Quezza, the right hand's right hand." "How's business, Tivet?" "Oh, busy. Passing through the back?" Kamiz nodded. "Keep the door locked." He pushed aside the hanging tapestries, covering the entrance to the vent shaft underground. The tunnels let Kamiz pass through New Capenna covertly, how she preferred. One of the perks of being Rafine's spymaster: minimal interaction with people. Let Quezza be personal. Kamiz had no time for. "Can't we stay for tea, Kamiz?" "I'd love to have my leaves read." "No." "Tivet, look into the future. Any chance Kamiz ever smiles?" Outlook not so good, sorry." "Chapterfoot, Quezza." "Mad now." She's mad now," said Quezza through stage whispers. The marks around her eyes pulse blue-green. "The marks around her eyes pulse blue-green when she's mad." "I'm coming!" "I see glowering and silent disapproval in your future, Quezza," Tivet called. I see. Tivet threw back their head and screamed. The floating crystals shattered midair as blue smoke twisted through the room like a hurricane. Kamiz smelled metal in the air, a storm building in the corners. Darkness suffocated all light, including Kamiz and Quezza's bioluminescent markings. Silence descended, heavy and taut. Tivet's open wings crackled with electricity. Light blazed from their eyes and mouth, knocking the two cephalids back. A chorus roared from Tivet's throat. Kamiz cast a spherical lens into the room to record. She spent too much time with Rafine not to recognize a prophecy. The kitten hiding the cream, Horvidae flitting and pecking, gold in the water, hiding the cream, the kitten. The room shook. Kamiz held her ground. Halos formed in the swirling light. She tried to look for Quezza, but the cyclone of power forced her eyes shut. The sound rose to a crescendo and stopped. Shattered glass and shredded books fell. Sunlight streamed through Tivet's modest windows, and the Sphinx seer collapsed. "Quezza?" Kamiz blinked her watering eyes. Her apprentice lay sprawled beneath a bookcase, cradling her head. Kamiz cast the viewing spell as she rushed over. Bruises and scrapes lit up across Quezza's body, none serious. "I'm fine." "Kamiz, that was..." Kamiz called the spherical lens back to her hand. "I'm sending the recording to Rafine now." Quezza rubbed her head, filled a water carafe for Tivet, and pushed them to rehydrate. "Kamiz, I've read every account of Rafine's visions from the founding. This was exactly like them. This is big. Different." Kamiz kept her face blank. There was an explanation. There was nothing she did not know. Only things she did not know yet. A reporting amulet against her throat vibrated. Another seer reporting a vision. The amulet shook again. It buzzed and rattled against her skin, heating with the friction, as though the stone inside would crack. Kamiz fumbled the amulet in her palm and pressed it to display the reports. Magic windows flashed blue before her, revealing fortune-tellers, soothsayers, and augurs from Park Heights, from the Metzio, the Koldaya, all reporting the same thing. Halos, halos, kitten hiding the cream. The kitten hiding the cream, gold, water, gold, corvidae, halos, halos, halos everywhere. Same vision? Quezza whispered. She gripped a milky white talisman, halo inside. A token from the superstitious angel faithful? Put that away. Quezza stared at the reports. What does it mean? Kamiz's wrist summons charm tightened. We'll know soon enough. Kamiz straightened her cuff and walked to the back tapestries. Rafine was calling her to the cloud spire. Wild start. The elevator lifted from the city depths, through girder streets, past dazzling buildings, and into the clouds. Kamiz sent Quezza to the Interfactorium's map room to begin analysis. Quezza was a daydreamer, but also the best exactor in the Obscura. Once or twice, she'd caught details Kamiz had missed. No small feat. The elevator doors opened like beetle wings. Whispers swirled through Rafine's sanctum. New Capenna's secrets, schemes. The glass walls let the powerful Sphinx demon overlook her city. The stained glass above depicted her rise to power, how she joined with the archdemons as the angels fell, and how they enhanced her visionary capabilities. Ghostly images of reports, crimes, and movements floated through the room. The Sphinx demon paced, scattering the whispers and reports into mist. Every time, Rafine's presence was a kick in the gills. This is a little too upbeat. Go to something else. Ghostly images of reports, crimes, and movements floated through the room. The Sphinx demon paced, scattering the whispers and reports into mist. Every time, Rafine's presence was a kick in the gills. Older than memory, powerful and mysterious. With her infernal visions, Rafine knew everything. Kamiz dropped to her knee. Like a storm, Rafine unfurled her wings, banishing the swirling reports and images to the corners. Her voice filled the room like thunder. Report! Kamiz made a point never to tell Rafine something unless she was sure. You've seen Tivit's vision. Other seers in New Capenna saw it at the same time. We're mapping them to pinpoint a pattern. The common elements include: do not rehearse the contents of a vision to a seer. Kittens splashing in milk, gold in the water, halos, halos, I have seen it. I am not interested in the details of your craft. I want to know who sent this vision. Kamiz clenched her jaw to keep from flinching. Did she say sent? Rafine's visions came from the archdemon. Who else could have sent a vision of this magnitude? Someone attacked the visionaries of New Capenna. Unacceptable. The implications hit Kamiz in her stomachs. She'd warded the cloud spire herself. If a spellcaster managed to reach every seer, including Rafine, it meant her wards had failed. Someone got to Rafine, and it was her fault. Kamiz stood. I will find your answer. Quickly! Rafine retreated into her whispers and shadows. Do this personally, Kamiz. Feet on the pavement. My trust is in you alone. For now. Kamiz swallowed the lump in her throat. Understood. The interfactorium walls shone brighter than a cabaret party. Quezza gathered information orbs in her palms and flicked them to the map. 2 side searches gathered data in one corner, and she traced lines of light between disconnected areas. If Quezza thought they were connected, it was worth investigating. Each dot is a seer who experienced one of those visions. Quezza pointed to the map. Every one on our payroll, and a good number who don't know they are. Same vision, same time, no exceptions. Add a dot to the cloud spire. Kamiz grimaced and kept her coat on. She'd be going to the city to investigate soon. Feet on the pavement. Rafine gave me her report. Same vision, same time. Quezza snapped the report into place. I'm researching the vision's images. Hidden, hiding cream, gold in the water. Corvidae, which I thought referred to crows, could be any number of birds. Crows, magpies, jackdaws, ravens. Cut that search, he said. We're investigating who sent the vision, not the vision contents. Sent? We're treating this like an attack. Someone cast a spell or poisoned the proverbial visionary waters. Quezza pursed her lips and rubbed her talisman. Kamiz, I'm telling you, this is exactly like Rafine's visions at the founding. The big ones, it's not... Why do you have that? Quezza looked at her talisman. You don't believe in the angels? What is there to believe or disbelieve? Angels are a historical fact. They existed. They helped build New Capenna, and they left. Quezza shrugged. Some have faith they'll return. Don't you suspect there's more to things than what we can see? Some higher power? We are the Obscura spy masters, Quezza. We question everything and believe nothing without proof. Give that to me. Quezza handed over the talisman. Rafine says it's an attack. I know you studied New Capenna's founding, but Rafine was there. The people who didn't listen to her are dead. This is the direction we're going. The markings along Quezza's neck pulsed a deep violet. She nodded and turned to the map. Understood. Kamiz pushed on. Did anything significant occur right before the vision hit? He called the Avon surveillance reports from the stack in the corner and limited the search to the hour prior. There. An explosion in the Metzio. Quezza zoomed into the map. An abandoned warehouse. She spread an arch of reports over her head, chose one, and cast the others to the side. One person's been in the area this week. The enhanced picture revealed a Leonin woman, orange tabby fur with pale yellow eyes. She wore a trench coat, a smart fedora, and a suspicious expression, like she was sniffing for a story. Lacey Lenine, the reporter. She works for Denry Kiln at the Capenna Herald. Sounds like the kitten hiding the cream, boss, Quezza said. Lacey and Denry have a secret scoop about something. Or they created their own scoop to beat out the other reporters. Ms. knew reporters. She used to be one, before she found a job where she didn't have to talk to people. Reporters would do anything to sell papers. Plausible theory, but... A theory's no good without evidence, I know. Good girl. Look into the abandoned warehouse. Quezza minimized the maps and sanitized the room of secrets. Call Oscar? Good choice. Kamiz liked his trash can treasure hunts and sewer salvages revealed a lot about people. Plus, he hung out with rats to avoid people. They were kindred souls. She cast the calling spell and brought Oscar into view, then pulled his image into the room. He blinked at the bare walls. How do you do this, boss? It feels like I'm here. It looks like you're here too. Beza passed her hand through Oscar's shoulder. Basic illusion. I suggest a few details. Your mind fills in the rest. People see what they expect to see. Queza and Oscar passed hands through each other again and grinned. New hat, Queza? It is! I'm trying a new style before the crescendo. Are you going? To the crescendo? Me? He shuffled. Hey, I found 2 more stained glass halos for you. I'll send the locations. Great! Kamiz cleared her throat. What's up, boss? Oscar wiped his nose on the back of his hand. Abandoned building this morning. What do you know? Abandoned building exploded this morning. What do you know? He pulled up the map. That building ain't abandoned, boss. Based on the trash, people been inside for a week. And it didn't explode. It imploded. She glanced at Queza. Feet on the pavement. Kamiz replaced her hat. I'm sending an Echo Reader team to view the implosion site. Queza and I will head there soon. She closed the illusion, then handed Queza her coat. Why is Oscar finding halo signs for you? I'm an exactor, Kamiz. You pay me to notice things. Kamiz tilted her head. Go on. Halo imagery's been popping up in the architecture, without evidence of construction. I'm waiting to see if a pattern emerges. Oscar's my lookout. Kamiz grunted. Is indeed what she paid Queza to do. Oh, very well. Question everything, follow your hunches, and verify with evidence. I know, Kamiz. Good. Let's go find a reporter. Denry Kiln tried not to jump when 2 Obscura agents appeared in his office. Yeah, I'll talk. I got nothing to hide. I'm gonna try an accent. I apologize in advance. Denry ran his claws through a well-manicured mane. Lacey Lanine? Nah, she didn't have work down there. Lacey does fluff pieces for the society page. Nothing important. The tips of Kamiz's tentacles prickled. If this was how Denry talked about Lacey, the reporter would be looking to prove herself with some big scoop. Motive to attack the Seers? I'll show you. Here's her last article. A preview of the Crescendo menu and entertainments. A line or 2 from Ginny Mira and Kit Canto, see? Harmless. Anyway, she ain't been in today. Probably out with her lady friend all night. Lady friend? Queza asked. One of those straight-laced brokers, Lagrita or something. Lagrella? Yeah, Lagrella. Kamiz and Queza rolled their eyes together. Lagrella the Magpie was a broker lieutenant. If she was hanging around Lacey Lanine, it was because she was manipulating her. A subtle push to control the Capenna Herald, likely. Contact us when you see Lacey, Kamiz says. If you don't, we'll know. Denry swallowed hard. Kamiz and Queza left the room. The Echo Readers stood in the warehouse rubble with their eyes closed, reading the spectral afterimages. Kamiz squinted through the dust hanging in the air. There's a 4-person team working in darkness, the readers intoned in unison. Their faces are shadowed. Shadowed? Queza asked. They're under a spell, Kamiz explained. They cast dozens of spells aimed at a bottle in the warehouse center, the readers continued. Every spell fizzled, until this morning. Something stuck, and it devoured the room. The echo readers raised their heads, eyes still closed. Everything. Building imploded, and then the readers shielded their spectral eyes. Shadow burst from the explosion. Kamiz put her hands in her pockets. Do you see Lacey Lanine? The echo readers pointed to a northern side street. There, on the first night, she entered the warehouse from that direction, handed them a bottle of Halo, and left. From the Vanta Leone, Queza whispered, where she was writing an article about the crescendo. Not out with a lady friend, eh? Kamiz nodded. Red herring. Denry underestimated her. She's ambitious. Tried to make her own story. Stole Halo from the cabaretti and arranged for experimentation. Now she'll publish her exposé about how all the seers in New Capenna were compromised. Easy fix, Queza said. Give her name to a ruiner. By morning, no paper will touch anything written by Lacey Lanine. Kamiz frowned. This would answer Rafine's question. She had the who, but not enough of the how and why. Halo did enhance spells, but enough to cover the entire city? Even to the Cloud Spire? Ugh. Something wasn't adding up. She tapped into the Obscura network and summoned a mentalist. Find Lacey Lanine. I need to pick her brain. Her reporting talisman shook. Oscar's face appeared. He pulled back to show the figure swaying beside him. Lacey. Someone beat you to it, boss. Found her sitting in a dumpster in a stupor. Mind wiped. The mentalist goodness, do the action about. The mentalist dusted off her palms. I can't find anything. Her mind is blank. Whoever did this was thorough. Kamiz grunted. Take her to the infirmary. You got it, boss. She guided Lacey into a car. Queza and Oscar sifted through the trash Lacey left behind. Rats scurried from the dumpster, bringing offerings. The alley was familiar. They were just down the street from Tivet's shop. Kamiz and Queza might have passed by just this morning. Did it mean anything that Lacey was so close to Tivet? Unlikely. Meant more that she was so far away from the blast site. These are connected to Lacey. Oscar handed Kamiz a notepad, a business card, and a tight scroll. All three were blank. And her notes are scrubbed, Queza said. Kamiz sighed. Lacey might be a victim of her own plot. The Halo-infused spell put images into Seer's minds and wiped her memory. She survived the implosion, but the magic hit her brain at point-blank range. Good theory. It fit the evidence. Did the echo readers mention Lacey being nearby for the implosion? Kamiz's head snapped up. Glass shattered nearby. Metal crashed against wood. Tivet's shop. Kamiz shoved the blank scraps into her pocket and sprinted. Queza caught up in a few steps, her coat's dagger-shaped fringe tinkling as she moved. They pushed through screaming, panicked pedestrians to see flame burst from Tivet's shop. The balcony above the shop entrance buckled on one side, a breath away from crashing to the ground. The storefront stained glass rained down the sidewalk. A crowd of looky-loos bunched up to watch the destruction, slowing Kamiz and Queza's rush to the front. Tivet shook in their entryway, terrified and stunned. The balcony overhead creaked, showered sparks. Tivet! Queza leapt forward as the balcony broke from the wall. They would both be crushed. Kamiz projected her magic forward, gripping Tivet's thick fur and Queza's long coat, ripping them out from under the balcony. Crashed to the pavement. The fire spread, attracting more voyeurs. Kamiz strained to see where she'd thrown the two. Tivit lifted their head. Queza's coat lay flat and empty. She grabbed the coat and missed Queza. Kamiz stared at the flaming balcony. No movement. The crowd clogged the street, blocking her attempts to get closer. Light flashes signaled the arrival of the brokers, ready to offer protection for a price. Kamiz's markings flared blue-green. Queza. Magic gathered in a blue storm around her hands. Oscar! He shouted, but he was already in motion, relaying orders to his rats. The rodents surged, feeding on his fear and fury. Kamiz's spells lifted them, enhanced them, splashed them down upon the crowd. Illusion. The crowd saw giant flying rats, and their minds filled in the rest. Everyone scattered, including the broker's contract mages. Tivit, shaking off the shock, called the water down to extinguish the flames. Kamiz rushed to the fallen balcony and flipped the charred wood to find her apprentice. Oscar sifted through the ash, cutting his fingers on broken glass. No, 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 he muttered. Nothing. No Queza. Kamiz's 3 hearts stopped inside her chest. She'd failed Rafine, and now her apprentice, her right hand, her... Oof. Ouch. Kamiz held her breath. A thin hand emerged from the gap between 2 buildings. A hand with bioluminescent markings. Queza! Oscar jumped to his feet. Inch by inch, Queza poured herself out from the small gap. She shook herself and let her body pop back into shape. No bones, Queza cracked a smile. Cephalids excel at getting in and out of tight spots. Oh! Kamiz pulled the young woman into a tight hug. A moment passed. Queza returned it. Thought you were dead, kid. Not dead, boss. Just squished. Kamiz cleared her throat and let go. She straightened Queza's collar, looked her over. She was fine. Smart kid. Kept her wits about her. She never should have worried. Oscar shuffled foot to foot, unaccustomed to talking with non-rodents. Queza tucked a wavy tentacle into place. All right, Oscar? Your finger webs are singed. Yours are bleeding, he answered. He shrugged. Glass? Yeah. Kamiz rolled her eyes. Across the street, the exhausted Tivit talked with a man in a well-tailored, armored pinstripe suit. He waved a scroll in Tivit's face. A contract. Broker. Kamiz spread her webbed fingers and viewed the man through a window of magic. Contract magic circled the scroll like chains. Kamiz plucked mirrored glass from the debris and projected it between the agent and Tivit. The binding magic reflected to the agent and fizzled. He scowled at Kamiz and scurried away. It was a gasp. Quick thinking, boss. Oh, Midnight. I'm sorry I scared you there. Apologies. I'll continue reading stories and try not to sound spooky. Mirrors expose the loopholes in contract matter, and you can exploit them. The agent knew he was beat. Always keep a mirror handy. Tivit, never sign a contract with a broker. They're vultures. They see minor property damage and rope you into a protection racket. Tivit ruffled their feathers, indignant. Was confused for a moment. Who did this? Riveteers, Tivit said. After the vision this morning, I took a sleeping potion to calm my nerves. When I woke up, The new stained glass was above my door. They said it was scab work. Smashed it. My shop! Quezza rushed to Tivit's side. The stained glass appeared? What did it look like? Tivit waved their paw, bringing up a picture. Quezza gasped. The stained glass was a halo. Quezza, Kamiz started. Quezza sent report requests to all agents. Pictures of the buildings where the visions occurred this morning. Their talismans shook. Images floated around them like bubbles. One halo, another. Halos, halos, halos everywhere. Quezza whispered. It's the vision, Kamiz. Ah, looking into it. Her excitement grew. Rafine was right. Someone did send these visions, not Lacey Lenine or Denry Klin. It's a message from the angels. Kamiz waited for the punchline. It wasn't coming. Enough, Quezza. But enough! Oscar and Tivit froze. Quezza set her jaw. Have I taught you nothing? Her eyes narrowed. You didn't take a moment to ask how or when these halos were crafted, or consider interviewing the Glaziers and the Koldaya? Your first thought is folktales? Your angel obsession makes you sloppy. What about you? Quezza blurted. You don't even follow your own rules. What? Have you questioned everyone, Kamiz? Your objectivity falls away at certain altitudes. I've been collecting evidence. Are you examining your assumptions? Are you questioning Rafine? No sound but their pounding hearts. Kamiz straightened her coat. You're off this case. Quezza exhaled like she'd been punched. What? Give me your sigils and talismans. You're not ready for this. Report back to the Calic Library for exactor duties. Quezza glared. Her markings flashed purple and violet. Fine. He pulled the talisman from her neck, chucked the sigil bracelets from her wrists, and slammed them into Kamiz's open palm. Kamiz turned away to let her know she was forgotten. Tivit, we'll send a crew to clean up. Oscar, good work today. Sure, boss, Oscar muttered. Kamiz pretended not to see Quezza, her peripheral vision, fists balled and jaw clenched. Been wrong about as she'd been wrong about the Cloud Spire's wards. Quezza was not her problem anymore. Time to report to Rafine. Kamiz lifted her forehead from the elevator's glass wall and sighed. Blackbirds flew past in a tight V. She spoke into her bracelet before the elevator doors opened. Check it out and report back to me. Understood, the Avon surveillance chief responded. She closed the link and took a cleansing breath. The doors opened. Rafine paced as before. For a moment she looked smaller, diminished. As she knelt, Kamiz inspected the sanctum's magnificent. The walls, carvings, the stained glass. Stand and report. I found the vision catalyst. Spellcasters using Halo. It killed them and destroyed a building. Wiped a reporter's mind, she almost said. But she made a point never to tell Rafine something unless she was sure. She fingered the notepad and scroll in her pocket. The halo was stolen from the cabaret. The spellcasters? Dead. Evaporated. The only witness was a reporter, Lacey Lenine. Her mind was wiped. Kamiz waited for Rafine to call out her passive voice. The Sphinx demon ignored it. She seemed more relieved that there was an explanation. Kamiz knelt again, arms spread. I made a mistake, boss. I warded the cloud spire, but this spell got through somehow. The report chimed in the room by her ear. Kamiz, I looped the spire 3 times and compared it to prior photograms. Everything is the same. Looking into your second question now. Kamiz sat back on her heels. Her fiend stopped pacing. What? I came here to tell you I made a mistake, boss. And I did. Rafine shook her wings. You're forgiven. Re-establish the wards. Check them again. That will be all. That wasn't my mistake. The clues came into focus. My mistake was assuming every seer saw the same vision. They didn't. Everyone saw a kitten hiding a bowl of cream. You said it was kittens splashing in milk. Rafine halted her pacing. Hiding, splashing, they are the same. You didn't see the same vision, Kamiz stood, because you didn't see any vision at all. Rafine drew up like a storm. You dare? No halos, boss. Kamiz pointed at the stained glass around the room. Not a single halo here in the cloud spire. Halos? Halos everywhere, but none here. That's why you're scared. For the first time, someone sent a vision, and they didn't send it to you. Rafine's wings drooped. Boss, the second report came to her ear. You were right. She was in the dumpster all night, nowhere near the implosion. Kamiz looked Rafine in the eyes. We gotta deal with this vision. Something big is coming, and we need to protect the family. I can't do that if you hide the truth from me. She turned to the elevator. Where are you going? Rafine demanded. To get justice for an innocent reporter. Lacey Lenine wasn't at the building when it imploded. The spell didn't wipe her memory. Where was she? Kamiz pulled the scroll from her pocket. Out with her lady friend. Mergino Fountain was a calm oasis in the heart of the chaotic city. Lagrella stood between 2 orderly rows of palm-leaved bushes, admiring the winged architecture. She tapped a toe, blue-white mist spilling from the fountain. Kamiz stepped from the shadows, alone, but ready. Congratulations, Spy Master. You found me. The mist swirled underfoot. Lagrella the magpie, flitting and pecking. Are brokers always this sloppy? Pardon? Lagrella said. A window gets scratched and there's a broker signing people up for protection. An entire building implodes in the heart of the Metzio, and not a single broker comes sniffing? You might as well have signed your name. Once I found your girlfriend, it was basically a confession. You mean Lacey? Lagrella twisted the heavy rings on her fingers. Not my girlfriend. If I could have robbed the cabaret myself, I would have. But the cabaret don't let anyone into the kitchen. Except harmless reporters for the society pages. Kamiz felt the puzzle pieces fit into place. The kitten hiding the cream wasn't Lacey or Denry Klin. It was the cabaret. Lagrella's magic pooled around Kamiz's ankles, hiding in the mist. He stood still. Alas, Lagrella continued, I only love 2 things. My fish tank and the prophecy. Kamiz knew she decorated the tank with contract breakers dipped in gold and silver. Gold in the water. Prophecy. The magpie's magic danced along Kamiz's wrists, stinging her tentacles. She kept her face blank. Lagrella pulled a scroll and fountain pen from her coat. The prophecy is locked in a vault below Nido Sanctuary. A demon foretold New Capenna's destruction. When the city's halo supply is gone, we die. I don't mind telling you. Soon you won't remember. You believe this? Rafine's right hand questioning a demon's prophecy? I discovered something recently. The Cabaretti figured out how to make halo. Imagine. I sent Lacey to get me a sample. You know the rest. Magic tightened around Kamiz's wrists. They didn't agree to die for you. You'd be surprised what people agree to when they're desperate. Lagrella's smile dropped. For example, you're going to tell me the vision that's shaken the Obscura. It came the moment the building collapsed. I know you know what they saw, Kamiz. Tell me. Lagrella didn't know the vision's content. The images were real, not manufactured. Kamiz blinked. A flash of light caught her eye. Light from a mirror. Lagrella didn't see what Kamiz saw, but of course not. People see what they expect to see. Why care that the Cabaretti can make halo? Lagrella gaped. How do you not understand? There's an angel somewhere in New Capenna. Only angels can create halo. I'm trying to save this city. I opened a door, and before those worthless wizards failed, a message got through. You will tell me what your fortune tellers saw. Sign here. Kamiz gasped. Lagrella's magic jerked her hands forward. A pin materialized in her fingers, poised above Lagrella's contract. Ink threatened to spill from the tip. The ties of magic pushed her hand toward the paper. You're forcing me to sign a contract? I thought brokers were bound by justice and ethics. I'll do anything to save New Capenna. No. Yes. I'll add you to my collection, Kamiz. Silver, I think. Sign. Sweat dripped under her. Lagrella boosted the spell, forcing her hand to the paper. Kamiz pulled her hand back, grunting, fighting to not sign away her mind. Fought against it, pulled back. Her hand fell from the paper. You get all that, Quezza? A cheery voice piped behind her. I did, boss! Doomsday prophecy. Fresh halo, angels, all recorded and sent to the Cloud Spire. Lagrella whirled about, searching for the hidden cephalid. Kamiz is bound! She signed my contract! This contract? Kamiz lifted the scroll and the pen. They dissolved into mist. Lagrella fell back a step. What? This isn't real, broker. Not the paper or the pen. This isn't even Mergino Fountain. Look, the bushes are identical. It's not my best work. You saw what you wanted to see. Just like a magpie, distracted by shiny objects. My magic circles your neck, cephalid. Well, it looks that way, doesn't it? Quezza stepped into the illusion. My boss showed me a trick earlier. If you can't see the loophole, you can exploit it. She lifted the mirror she'd brought. Magically forcing someone to sign a contract leaves some big loopholes. Magic ensnaring Kamiz fell away, an optical illusion. Lagrella looked from her hands to Kamiz. Shift your perspective, Kamiz said. You're the one in the trap. Kamiz's illusion fell at once. The fountain, plants, and architecture disappeared. They stood in a bare, windowless room. Quezza stood before Lagrella, using her mirror to reflect the magic back at her, snaring her like a spider web. She cried out at her hand, holding the fountain pen, poised above her own deadly contract. Wipe your own mind with your signature, or nullify Lacey's contract. She pulled the scroll from her pocket. Your choice. Nullify a contract? Never! Kamiz pushed Lagrella's hand toward the paper. It's amazing what people will agree to when they're desperate. Lagrella bared her teeth, hissed, and kicked against her magical restraints. A furious scream ripped through her throat. She slumped in defeat. Fine, seethed. Kamiz replaced the scroll with Lacey's contract, and Lagrella's signature cracked the paper in two. Nice doing business. Kamiz feigned a salute and signaled Quezza to the door. Kamiz, you can't leave me here, Lagrella called out. I can't move! Be glad you aren't dipped in gold, magpie. It's your magic. Untangle it yourself. Quezza closed the door behind them. Lacey's waking up. Kamiz touched the rune in her ear. Memory restored. Why'd you help Lacey? Kamiz shrugged. Got a soft spot for hapless reporters. Used to be one. She paused. I wasn't expecting you to back me up. Quezza rubbed her arm. Oscar realized Lacey's scroll was a broker contract. I connected the dots, followed you here. Kamiz cleared her throat. You were right. Quezza held her breath. I checked. No halos on the cloud spire. Rafine didn't even see the vision. You checked? Question and verify. You were right. She stepped toward the shops, where they would find an entrance to the vent shaft underground. Come on, kid. Time to report to our boss. Quezza tilted her head. You fired me. Because I wasn't listening. She met Quezza's eyes. You were looking at facts. I should have trusted your analysis. You were right. And if someone in New Capenna is making their own halo, and angels are returning, Rafine will need you to talk her through it. She pulled Quezza's talisman and sigils from her pockets. Quezza took them reverently. This is all yours. Kamiz lifted the angel talisman. It twisted in the dusk, halo twirling within. Quezza quirked a smile. Does this mean you believe the angels will return? Quezza laughed. Ridiculous. But maybe. Maybe I don't know everything. Quezza grinned. I'll take it. A pair of blue-feathered birds chased each other in a spiral around steel columns. Their bird-song echoed off the stained glass, piercing even the shadows of New Capenna. Kamiz? Just appreciating the beauty, then let's go. Ah, that wrapped up nicely. I love that. That was good. Oh, very nice.